they wouldn't work on him or pull him into his own room until they literally saw black liquid coming out of his throat. Okay, when he started throwing up black liquid, that's when the nurses and physicians went to assess and do the job that they were paid to do. Welcome to Receive and Relate, y'all. If this is your first time here, I'm glad you are here for story time. I'm glad you clicked on this episode for story time. My name is Tara Walker. Welcome back, those who are subscribers and those who are returning visitors. So this episode is about when I couldn't do it anymore. I literally could not do it anymore. I was up to my wits end. Even though I shouldn't even felt like this as a wife in a marriage, I shouldn't have felt like that. But that's what I felt. I wasn't even married, but I felt like a wife. Even though as a wife, I shouldn't have felt like that either. You see what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying. Well, you'll get it when I finish. But I was not married to my husband yet, again, in this episode. But it felt like I was in an unhealthy marriage. Let alone not even a relationship, because like I said on the last episode, we were not in a relationship, but he was acting and treating it like we were. So last episode, I talked about how controlling and just how manipulative he would be about me going out with. I could not go out with friends, and I definitely couldn't go out with male friends, and that was a no if I had any at the time. But I could not go out with the female friend, even the female friends from church. These are people from church. I couldn't go out. He had a problem. This type of stuff, this behavior and stuff just kept going on and on and on and on. So now he began to start getting this stomach pain. Now at this time in my life, I am at this age. I was about I should be probably about 23, 24 now. I didn't really know about I heard of ulcers, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't really know what they were to that degree. You know what I'm saying? I never experienced this, so I never, or anybody around me, family or anything, so I never had a reason to like research it, you know what I'm saying? But I heard of it before, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know exactly what it was to the degree that it was. He kept complaining about his stomach. So he did not want to go to the doctor. Okay, now I had insurance because I had a job. Okay, he was not on my insurance because he was not my spouse, right? But my thing is this: if your stomach, if you complaining about pain every day, regardless if you have insurance or not, you need to go to the emergency room. But because he was the stubborn narcissist that he would not go. He just he just was pray and then pray in tongues and lay hands on himself and just believe that he could pray it away. Now there are times where that can happen. God can heal you at any given time. He's a healer, right? But God gives us wisdom sometimes too. And I bet if he would have went to go see about the ulcer, they would have found some other stuff or things that cause the ulcer, because it's always something that's going to cause and effect of everything, right? But he would not go. So he would buy like these. I remember him buying some little enzymes or something like that. Going to like the health food store and reading on the back of something that stomach pain, and taking them, popping them like they was candy. But still complaining about this stomach pain. Just kept complaining about the stomach pain. And so one day it got so bad that he was like hunched over, like he couldn't even stand up straight. During this time, now this should let you know how long he was complaining about this stomach pain and didn't go and see about it. He had lost a significant. He's already back then I don't know what he is now, but he was already a slim figured person, right? But he had lost a significant amount of weight to where it looked like his eyes were sunken in. It almost looked like he was sick, like he had something. But because I saw him every day, I guess I didn't notice it right away. until I think he told me how much the doctor said he weighed. I think he had gotten all the way. I think he was only like a buck 40 something, buck 50 something, buck 40 something. And I think when he told me when he got out of the hospital, he was like in like the late buck 20s or early buck 30s or something like that. I'm talking about buck, I'm sorry. That's the slang I be. 100, okay? 130, 120 something, 130 something pounds when he got out of the hospital. So that's when I realized that he did lose a significant amount of weight. So anyway, like I said, this particular day, he couldn't even stand up. And then he finally, I was like, you gotta go to the hospital, okay? I'm taking you to the hospital. And so I took him. Now, remember, he don't have no job. He don't have no insurance. So this particular hospital, I ain't gonna put him out there like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna do that. But it's a hospital in PG County. That's all. I just leave it at that. They didn't see him. I'm sorry. They had him wait in the waiting room. Somebody could say, well, it could be the emergency room. The emergency room wasn't packed. It was not packed. It was not packed. So it wasn't that. I know what it was. Anybody that doesn't have it, I just, listen, I've worked in the medical field for a long time, years and years and years. And I've seen a lot. And yeah, and I've always had insurance ever since, I left my mama's house, because I literally was working for Blue Cross Blue Shield. How could I not have insurance, right? So I ain't never had these type of issues. So we sitting there waiting, and I mean waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. He's double over on his knees because he can't even sit up. And next thing I know, he got up and, I'm sorry to be so graphic. I'm sorry. I hope you're not eating. He began to throw up black vomit. And then, that's what I was saying in the beginning in the episode. Then the nurses and everybody rushed him into the emergency room, and his eyes looked like his eyes rolled back in his head. It looked like something on a horror film. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like it looked crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was just like at that moment, I just was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with this. Like, I'm stressed. It's like and we wasn't, like I said, we wasn't even married, nor in a relationship. But I had so much on me just dealing with him. You know what I'm saying? And what happened, okay, so what happened was he had an ulcer and it burst. Because he waited so long. And so the black vomit was like dark blood. I had Googled it and found out what that was. And so, he got out and everything. They fixed him, fixed him. But before all of that, I went to the parking lot, right? Because I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. It's too much. I called my pastor. And I had his personal number at the time because I was a leader on the teen choir. So I had already had his personal number and everything. And I didn't think he was going to answer the phone, because I didn't call him a lot, but a few times, I called, he don't answer the phone. But he answered the phone that day. Okay, he answered the phone that day. Thank God. Okay, because God knew, excuse me, I'm sorry. God knew his daughter was, I was done. I was through with this whole situationship. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm being abused, manipulated, verbally, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Okay. I could not take it anymore. And so I called him, he answered the phone, and I just gave him everything. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it in other episodes, but I'll mention it now. And if I did, just bear with me, you hear it again. My ex-husband used to threaten me, right? When we would get in arguments and stuff like that, he would say, and you better not tell pastor, or you better not tell nobody at church, and I'm going to tell them all your business. I'm going to tell them all. He used to consistently say that. And I didn't understand to the degree why he would threaten me like that like that back then. I didn't understand. But later on in life, when the Lord would reveal stuff to me, he did that because that happened to him. According to him, before we met, he had situationships where his business ended up being put out in the church or whatever. I don't know. I don't know the whole story. I never asked the people. One of the persons I knew because I think they went to the church that I met him at my church before. But I never, you know what I'm saying, I ain't know him like that to call him up and be like, what happened with you and such, such and such. So I only knew his side of the story. And typically what I would learn is his side of the story was always, he was always the victim. Now, I'm not saying it was right for anybody, because I've had mine, as you see. I've shared a few episodes ago, and that was just one time with this church. I've had rumors going about me, that old church that I'm talking about too, that wasn't true. So I know how it feels to have, your business out in church. But that's what he would do because of what happened to him. You see what I'm saying? Hurt people. So instead of me being like, woman up and be like, I don't care what you say, you tell him, I tell him myself, I just was like, fine. But the thing about it is, he didn't even have to threaten me to do that, because I wasn't that type of person. You see what I'm saying? I wasn't the type of person that just run and just go, you know what I'm saying, because you make me mad, and then people do that to me. I don't do that to people. You see what I'm saying? You make me mad and I just go run and tell all your... I'm telling y'all, as God is my witness, I know people's stuff now that will absolutely go to the grave. Because I just don't do that. You see what I'm saying? And we all got a past. We all... Listen, wait till I reveal to y'all some of the stuff that I done did, okay? As a Christian. Okay? Listen. So I just don't... I've never been that type of person. So for him to just do that, that was his own issues. But this day... okay? When I was talking to Pastor, I didn't care what... And listen... He could have said, and all it was like, it's in my book, Cage Girl. All it was like, when I was molested, my addiction to masturbation and pornography and stuff like that. Man, listen, whatever. At that time, he could have told it. Now, I was embarrassed about it back then, but at that time, he could have told it, because I didn't care. I didn't care no more. I was tired. No, I wasn't tired. I was tired. Okay? There's a difference. I was tired. And so like I said, I told my pastor, and he was like, he gotta go. That was just the point blank period. He was like, he gotta go. And I was like, I know, but he's so manipulative. I don't know how I'm gonna get him out of my house. I don't know how, without a fight, because I would begin. I told him all that. I told him about this that I experienced. I told him how he would go from 0 to not even 100, 1,000. I ain't want to go through no more abuse. I ain't want to go through no more of my stuff being broken from him picking up stuff and throwing it that's mine and breaking it that's mine. And he was like, leave that to me. Leave that to me. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. You got it. And this is how I know it was God that stepped in, that used Pastor, because it happened so organically. To this day, unless he sees this video or somebody shares this with him, he does not know what really happened. So how he got out of my house. He thinks that it was a random meeting that my pastor orchestrated with him to come to the church. He was a deacon he was a deacon by now at my church. I don't know if I said that or not, but now he was a deacon. And so because he came home to tell me. And when I say Pastor didn't even wait on this didn't happen weeks later. I'm talking about days later after I called him. Days later. Like it didn't even, man, I almost I would say it was within the same week that this happened. That he called him up and said, you know what I'm saying, he wanted to meet with him at the church. And I was scared, because when he came home once again, okay, I'm thinking he about to come home ballistic, because I'm thinking that he was going to put 2 and 2 together, that I spoke to Pastor. Nope, he was super calm when he came home and said it. He was like, yeah, because one of the things that he did was he darn near worshipped, and I hate to even say this, because, we ain't supposed to worship nobody but God, but that's what it seemed like he did with my pastor at the time. It seemed like if he told him to jump, he'll say how high. And it was like one of them things. Like he he had respect for him and he had honor for him, but it seemed like it was overkill a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And like he was a man that couldn't do no wrong. Like he had, you know what I'm saying? He just was, yeah. Anything he said he'd do. Like, so that was nothing for him to go ahead and go to the church to meet with him, right? So obviously, okay, yeah, obviously I know he did that because we shared as well. It's my car, but we both drive it, right? So he obviously told me that he had to meet with Pastor, but it was just the calmness when he got home because I was nervous. I'm telling y'all, I thought he was gonna come home irate, thought he was gonna figure it out. My pastor did it so smoothly, like I said, he called him and told him he had to meet with him, and then I'm not sure how the conversation went, but he was able to get him to confess about, us staying together. And so my pastor told him what, like he told me, he was like, y'all not married, y'all don't need to stay together, you need to leave. But the way that my ex-husband told me when he walked in the house, it happened so organically because he made it seem like he was just sharing with him, that a woman and man should, regardless if nothing is happening physically, in terms of sexual intercourse, even if nothing is happening in that area, y'all shouldn't be living together. You know what I'm saying? Temptation. You know what I'm saying? He was talking to him like a pastor because when he got home, when I tell you the Bama started packing immediately, he was telling me, he was like, yeah, I gotta go. And it just so happened that his brother and I think it was his fiance at the time. It was either his girlfriend or his fiance at the time. Moved in our same complex, but we lived in a high rise, and they lived in one of the garden styles right across from that high rise. I didn't care if it was on the sidewalk. It wasn't in apartment 504. Okay. So y'all talking about somebody who was so relieved. And I told him, take your cat with you, which I really shouldn't have. I really should have kept David because the abuse he put that cat through, he shouldn't have. But no, I told him to take him with him. But because also that my brother-in-law, you know what I'm saying, they like pets or whatever, and I figured they would take care of the cat, so I figured he wouldn't be doing that over there with them, living with them. You see what I'm saying? So I figured he was in good hands, but I still should have kept him. But yeah, so that's the end of this episode. Now, so this is what's getting ready to happen. I'm gonna give y'all a little snippet. I'm getting ready to. It's still the same story, okay, but I'm getting ready to divert now and go into the narcissistic relationship that I end up having once my ex-husband moved out of the house. I started dating somebody, okay? And so so it's going to shift from talking, but the reason why the Holy Spirit told me to do this, to go ahead and put that in there, is because this person was a narcissist too, but they was a narcissist on a different level. See what I'm saying? I just saw an angel. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So that's why the Lord said to do that, because we're talking about narcissism, period, okay? And remember, if you've been following me since the beginning, I said my ex-husband was not the only narcissistic relationship I had. It was this one, and then it was more after him, okay? So this one was on a different type of narcissism though, but it's still this common denominator. So that's why I said stay tuned. Now, this was only a relationship of 2 years. So it probably won't be that many episodes, but stay tuned because that is why I wrote my ebook, because my ebook explains the different traits, okay? So now, thank you, Holy Spirit. Now, this person, I'll get to share with you a different trait of narcissism. He did not physically abuse me, but he did do manipulating stuff and emotional stuff. So I'll get to how that happened. The next episodes, okay? So stay tuned. Hope you like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate those who've been hanging in there with me too, and you've been watching. I really appreciate it. I love you so much. I always forget to say this because it's not on the forefront of my mind, but if you would like to sow into the ministry, this is a ministry. It may not seem like it, but it is. If God leads you, please let him lead you. The information is in the description box below. My ebook, I try to remember to say that. I pin it in the comments below. And if you have any situation with a narcissist or whatever, if you can relate, just say I can relate in the comments below. And because people receive when they can relate. I love you, but know that God loves you more. I'll see you next time.